and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3. As you can see, I am in the Velvet Room, scoping out the request from Elizabeth, because as soon as we reach 1210, the requests for this month become available, and the remaining requests for Haraba, by extension, are available. We also still have the last old document to collect, and we get a sizable amount of change for doing so, so we'll definitely want to get that done, but yeah, now we can finish off Haraba completely, get all of the items that we need to complete Elizabeth's request, and get some pretty decent rewards here with an Omega Drive and Charon's Hammer. Another thing that popped in is an invitation to visit our room, and we can get a rainbow feather off of this. Actually, very, very important in Persona 3 Portable, for reasons we'll get into in due time, but yes, we are going to be exploring Tartarus now, and we actually don't have too much ground to cover in FES and Portable. The last boss, we're currently on floor 190, and the last boss available for it is on floor 211, so even in FES, it's a very high chance I will get all of our exploration of Haraba done in one shot, though I may return for a little bit of training and item gathering, depending on how I feel. As before, we are just going with my dedicated team for FES, Ken, Akihiko, and Junpei. Junpei has finally gotten his Persona upgrade, so he's getting some new skills. As we saw previously, he has Spring of Life as his new unique passive. He'll be getting Agidine shortly to swap out Agilao, which, you know, as much as that's worth. And then he's got 2 more skills to learn in Brave Blade and Vorpal Blade, though honestly, with the way I've got him set up, he's probably better off just whacking things with Leviathan for right now. Nothing else to really report. I haven't really changed up my equipment from last time, and I am just going to go with the stuff that we happen to find in Tartarus, as there really isn't much reason to buy stuff from Officer Kurosawa. Gonna be getting back to where we were in Haraba, and let's just cover what's going on in Reload and Portable. Over in Reload, since we have not actually had a new full moon boss to fight, we do not have a new major arcana card to get, which is kind of sad to think about, honestly. Now, for my team for the expedition going forward, I'm going to be going with Junpei, Ken, and Koromaru. Aegis, of course, is on the outs right now. We're not going to be able to use her for quite some time, so unfortunately, all the investment that I've given into her, not going to mean much this month, but it will come in handy later. I will hopefully get a Grand Clock to level up Akihiko. He's falling a little bit behind. If I do get one relatively early on, then I will probably sub him in for Ken, more than likely, and we'll go with a hyper-aggressive team. I've got adequate healing on the protagonist for once, so no need to keep a dedicated healer in reserve. Also, as per usual, I have gathered all of the major arcana cards just by going through Yabasha and a little bit of Suzuya, just so we have that taken care of in advance and I don't have to worry about, or rather, I can get the most out of exploring the higher floors without having to get a bunch of major arcana cards, and potentially miss out on actually getting an arcana burst before we finish. Now, something that I'm actually going to show before we continue on to, or show off in Portable and continue with the expedition in FES, we, of course, have a dead end to get past in Reload. Obviously, this is not something that we had to deal with prior in FES and Portable, since all of Haraba was available to us, but we do have a barricade to break through in Reload, and the rest of Haraba will be available to us. There's a little bit more going on in Haraba for Reload this time around, so I'll probably be cutting to multiple boss fights, and probably having one included on a brief interlude that I'll do. Looks like the shaking has subsided. Is everyone alright? The path towards the staircase has opened up. You can advance further now. We don't know what's waiting ahead, so please be careful going forward. Stay tuned for more from the mighty Junpei. Indeed, indeed. I'm eager to show off the new weapons in his arsenal. Anyways, in Portable, over in Portable, we of course have a bit of a dilemma. Aegis is MIA. Now, she does become available before this moon cycle ends, so you could use her in Haraba, but that would be way too long for me to feel like waiting, especially when I don't really have anything else going on in the evenings. So instead, I decided to bring along Koromaru, just for fun. Originally I was going to go with Ken, but I realized he's kind of redundant to bring alongside Yukari, so I just thought it would be easier to make Koromaru work. I did have a spare cross-dog suit for him to use, and I quickly fused up an elementary kunai using a hanged man to give him a little bit of extra HP to work with. Not the strongest thing I could have made for him, but it should be good enough. and some Agni bracers on him to maximize the damage of his fire spells. He does pretty good with those once he gets some levels. Now, because he's so under-leveled compared to the rest of our party, he is going to be getting a lot more experience. So anytime we get a wand card, he's almost assuredly going to get 1, maybe even 2 levels starting out. So he will probably plateau a bit around level 50, but it shouldn't be too long before he gets to a point where he is usable enough. Certainly by the first boss that we get into, he should be able to actually put in some legitimate work and not just be there for the fun of it. But we won't be seeing too much of that right away. I will just be getting into as many fights as possible. Because I'm mostly just dancing around the Persona 3 portable footage, you don't have to worry about me spending too much time grinding up Koromaru on camera. Anyways, let's continue on. And away we go. Something seems different about the enemies in that area. I'll scan ahead, but it might take a little while. And since this is informally the next section of Haraba, of course we've got a whole slew of new enemies to go through, though the enemies that we need to kill in order to get the second item request that Elizabeth wants done aren't available until after the first boss that we get through here, so still got some other things to get through, and we've got quite a few, a couple new enemies here. We've got Angry Tables. These guys are weak to Slash and Wind and Nullify Ice, have 238 HP, so you can pretty much take them down with anything. Fate Seekers over here are weak to Pierce, Light, they nullify all conventional elements, and they repel darkness. Well, if that's what we're dealing with, I think it would be a good idea to, take out for a spin a guy we haven't really been able to do too much with at this point, Siegfried. Now, check out how much Vorpal Blade is going to deal in this situation. Oh boy. Siegfried, you're going to accomplish good things for us. Nice to see that I was able to clear 2 enemies out of the lineup that we need to get. I definitely want to pick up some money while I'm thinking of it. You know, money and experience, always a good thing to get, and enemies do indeed give quite a lot of experience in this section of Tartarus, so be prepared to see some serious level jumps happening if you happen to get experience booster. Next up, we'll hit this thing and see what enemy we get here. Because I've got so many things hooked up with Cool Breeze, I don't really have to be that particular about who I finish battles with. Let's see, we got Desirous Mayas here. They are level 61, have 334 HP, and unfortunately for them, they are weak to fire. So Cert will definitely make a quick work of this. I would actually like to get some level ups for Siegfried when the opportunity presents itself, because he has another very useful skill that will combo wonderfully with Cool Breeze in order to really extend the mileage we can get out of hello? Game? Extend the mileage we can get out of Cool Breeze. My game seems to have frozen. There we go. Sorry, there's my PS2 is definitely showing its age. Sometimes it runs into problems like that. Always makes me nervous when it happens, but fortunately that was not a crash. Just have to deal with that every now and again. I'm gonna try and avoid getting into too many battles, because obviously I would like to finish off Tartarus in this expedition, if possible, but, you know, what happens, happens. Alright, looks like we've got some other new enemies here. Let's see, these are Ruinous Idols? Actually, these are not new at all. As you can see, Ruinous Idols have already been demoted here. This is, again, another good thing for Siegfried. The enemies aren't immune to physicals. You know, Vorpal Blade with the great bonus. Very, very easy way to just take things out without having to think very hard about it. Yeah, excellent damage there, especially now that we've gotten his strength boosted up. Vorpal Blade is the best physical skill in the game. Oh boy, my PS2 is being extra weird. Hope I don't run into problems, but that might be a good idea. Might be a good idea to save regularly this recording. We'll see what happens. Yeesh, why is it having so many problems? Probably a mixture of the game and just the age of the PS2. Hopefully I don't run into any issues. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. Oh boy. Come on, game. You can load this. Go. Oh my goodness. What's happening here? Why is it being so temperamental? We'll see what happens in this recording. It might be a good idea to make a retreat to make a save, just so I don't have to redo anything. Of course, I can just cut out the dead air. Jesus Christus. That's not something I was expecting to deal with this recording. Anyway. Alright, no serious hangs there. Let's see. Okay, since we got a homunculi, I know that this is a junk floor now, so we can return to that staircase and just make our way upwards, do our best to avoid enemies on the way, make our stamina go as far as possible. It really isn't that necessary, but, you know, just to give myself a bit more flexibility with how I do things when I'm not recording for the game, it would be nice to be done with Haraba here on this particular evening. But again, it's not a big deal. The enemies are getting stronger. Are you okay? Please don't push yourself too hard. I don't plan to, Fuka. Oh man, that guy is in a terrible position. Might have to wait a little bit for this guy to move on. So, other notable things that we've got coming up. Akihiko has not yet gotten to the point where he's going to learn Masakunda, which is a little annoying, but he is going to get Diarahan, which will give him a bit more value as an off-supporter. Ken will be learning Spear Mastery, not soon, but after a few level-ups, he'll have that, which will give even more value to Gibog, because it is affected by Spear Mastery in addition to Wind Boost and Wind Damp, which makes Ken surprisingly potent with it as a damage dealer, even this late in the game. Let's see, Muscle Drink, another junk floor, so we can just immediately go on to the next floor. And hey, we actually got another new enemy here. Let's see, Pistol Mother. This one repels ice and wind and is weak to elect. However, both these guys are perfectly vulnerable to Vorpal Blade, so that's just what we're gonna do. Again, Siegfried is another good brainless solution to things. He does have a bit more of a limitation compared to Sir and Odin, though. Of course, when we exit the Great status, Vorpal Blade's damage is going to crater by quite a bit, even with 99 strength, because a lot of that damage bonus is coming from the double bonus from being in the Great condition. And then we also have to deal with the fact that we are losing a pretty considerable amount of damage just from being in the tired condition itself, which is a 25% reduction to your outgoing damage. Cert can still, with 99 magic and all the relevant boosts, I'm not exactly sure where it is, sorry, but at least go up a little higher, I would be delighted to. But yeah, Cert with all his relevant bonuses, even with that 25% damage reduction coming from being in the tired condition, he can still deal excellent damage, if he has 99 magic to work with, which, you know, at this point, he does, so we're, how shall we say, playing with fire here, but in a good way, strictly a good way. Alright, I'll ignore these guys. Again, not too interested in getting to too many fights, because we're not at the point where we're going to run into the enemy that drops the item I'm looking for. Can't remember it. The only fights I would really care to get into is a Strong Shadow, which, hey, right over there. So let's just, oh, actually, we can probably sneak up on this guy and give him a quick whack-a-smack here. Okay, let's see. The Daring Gigas is our Strong Shadow for here. They are strong against physicals and weak to wind, and also my PS2 is stalling out a little bit. That's okay, that's okay. These things happen. Alrighty, do I actually have a good wind user now that I think about it? We can now, I forget if we can create Norn at this point. Actually, let me see here. I gotta shop through my guys and see if we got anybody who is effective with wind skills. Let's see, no. Raphael, do you happen to have a wind skill? No. Let's see, Dionysus definitely doesn't. I don't think Alice picked up any wind stuff, no. So we might just have to stick with Nandi here, who's not exactly great, but he can set him up for the all-out attack. I better scan these guys just so the rest of my team knows what we're dealing with if we're not able to finish these guys off with the all-out attack, but I'm not too concerned about that, because we are working with a lot of power here, and of course I've got Ken hooked up with the Gibog still, so he can just slap these guys with it and deal some pretty good damage that way, yeah, so we'll just have him wind attack through these guys, much better than doing it ourselves. Honestly, until I happen to, hey, sweet, 2 rainbow hairs, until I happen to get Norn online, it might not be a terrible idea to have Ken set those guys up for knockdowns. We'll equip Cert here preemptively, just so I'm not caught unawares. Let's see, grab the item here, and yes, this is a payday floor, so let me just put on my scratch pad right here, that floor 190, what was it, 3? Yes, we can get good money here, and good equipment. 100k right there, just for no major effort on my part, very nice. Much better than what we're dealing with from coin cards. I will say, some of these enemies don't ooh, Strike Repeller. That's a very misleading name. That just increases your evasion against strike skills. It does not give you a chance to repel them like it might imply. I sense a strong presence above you, but but I can't pinpoint its location. You can go a little higher up. Oh, I'd just be delighted to, Fuka, so let's see. Let's see if we can't find it. Oof, boy, getting some frame drops here. That's another PS2-related issue I've been running into. Goodness gracious, oh my goodness. Let's just hit this guy.
My skills have improved.
Glad to hear, Akihiko. I will admit, that has been a slight concern of mine throughout this LP, that, just the possibility that my PS2... Excellent, Junpei. But yeah, that has been, like, something I've been a little paranoid about as I've been going through the LP. Like, man, what if my PS2 dies on me completely? Which wouldn't be the end of the world. Fortunately, even now and to this day, PS2s are still pretty commonly available at any used game store you can go to, and they are relatively cheap. I don't think I've seldom seen one go over the $60 mark, so while it would be undesirable, not the end of the world for the production of the LP. Speaking of something that's good for the production of the LP, we've got a new enemy over here, Cursed Dice. These guys are, let's see, strong physicals, weak to wind, nullify darkness. Not anything too fancy there. Since we've got a ruinous idol over there, our ideal answer to these guys would be Odin. That'll allow us to just hit every single one of these guys with high power elect damage, and Odin's magic is steadily starting to improve as I've been able to funnel arcade games into him, so that's working out very nice for us there. Let me see. I'm just thinking about what would be great to take for free. Kali would be nice, but we don't really need her, so we'll just take the sword. What I would like to see, and I'm honestly kicking myself for not taking this earlier because it wasn't an earlier shuffle time, would be a free Atropos. That would be very nice, just for my purposes for fusion later. Where are the stairs for this area? We're having trouble finding them. I do always, worry that I'm just, backing up from the way that is actually the exit. Nope, okay. Actually made a good decision there. Let's go, let's go. We're about halfway to the first boss fight. I sense something powerful, but it may take some time before I can determine where it is. Please be careful. Oh, Fuka. Now, if we could just quickly find a treasure chest here and figure out if we're dealing with junk, well, at least I know where the stairs are. Not that that's super helpful in Persona 3 FES, honestly, since you can't get a full view of the map after you discover something important, which is definitely one of the most frustrating things about exploration in this version of the game. Hey! This'll, should ideally take care of the rainbow hair request for us.
Yes, yes, yes! My skill level has increased!
Glad to hear, Ken. Glad to hear. And that was the last rainbow hair that I needed, so we should actually be good to move on for the rest of the section. I don't really have to worry too much about fighting anything that I don't have to. I think I've already covered everything that can only be found specifically in this area. We've just confirmed that this is a junk floor, so that also works out good for me. Getting a surprisingly large number of those in rapid succession, so I guess I know where I'm going to be doing my farming from once we get to the next boss. I probably will not bother getting both chests. I'm just going to confirm if something is a junk floor or not. The enemy might be closer than I thought. Let me double check. Okay, you do that, Fuka. But yeah, I'll just be confirming if something is a junk floor for the most part. We'll get this guy aggroed. And let me just back up. That should have de-aggroed him. Yes. Very bad angle. Gotta love when the enemies just give you the absolute worst angles that they can take for you to approach them on. But, oh, actually, that might work out slightly. Yes, okay, we've got a payday floor here, so I'll mark that down, though, again, we're not really seeing very inspiring... Oh, hey, didn't have to worry about going out of my way to get the treasure there. We did get a weapon for Aegis, which is not that helpful, all things considered. One interesting thing I did see in Shuffle Time there was Loki. We could get him for free, but it would be more prudent to fuse him, for reasons we'll get into later. Now, let's just make our way over the stairs here, see if we can't get a double dose of payday here. I would love to see more money coming my way. I found it. It's on the 201st floor. Still far away, but please be careful. Okay, something that we already knew, because of course I just spoiled that for you. I think it's a good time for a brief reload interlude as we go through the various enemies we can come across, such as a Red Sigil, which is weak to ice, drains fire, and is immune to light, has quite a bit of HP, but because I'm able to get these guaranteed preemptives with our upgraded preemptive strike, we can very often find enemies caught in the distress status, and Getsue has enough crit rate that winging at it with Koromaru should usually knock it down. Set us up for an all-out attack. Didn't get a finisher there, but that's okay. This team is pretty well set to handle anything that this enemy throws at us, and that's not just because we have the auto team buff, so that is very nice. Hopefully, in the near future, we'll be able to get auto Matarukaja going. Still have a few levels to clear before I get that going. Next up, we've got our Strong Shadow, the Daring Gigas. I actually don't have a good dedicated attacker for dealing with this guy, so this is going to be pretty interesting, but I do have a lot of things at my disposal in spite of that. I could show off something with Junpei here, but I think I'll save it for a more ideal moment. Let's see, this guy's going for the Heat Riser, which is no problem to us, because of course we've got Ken, and he's got his valuable utility in Deikaja. Always keep that option in mind. What I will go for with Junpei, though, is because I don't really need his Theurgy right now, is we'll go for a Hack and Blast here. Not going to be the best damage possible, because we don't really have any offensive buffs going on him. Of course, we really do need to get Auto Mataru going. I gotta say, I've been having pretty bad luck with getting crits for Junpei this playthrough. Normally, you see a lot more coming through from him, but I've just not been having much luck with him, and I'm trying my best to optimize him for crits, which is honestly isn't the end of the world. It makes it a little bit more ideal to show off a potential alternative build that you can do with Junpei. We'll just have Koromaru do a little Igaon on it. One nice thing about the Dark and Light line of attacking spells is they actually do have a slightly higher bit of base power than... I just hold my breath there when Akasha Art gets thrown out. It has some pretty nasty damage. But the Light and Dark spells, Eiga and Eiha and Koha, and their upgrades, they actually have a slightly higher base power than equivalent tier spells. Why did I go for Gigantic Fist? Should have gone for Death Bound. Oh well, not a big deal. What I'm going to do here is knock him down with Garula, and I'm actually going to go for a stronger attack that will assuredly just do way more damage than what a all-out attack could do. But yeah, those spells are stronger than things of the same tier for the more conventional elements. And yeah, let's have Suzaku just blast off with a very powerful Agidyne here. If only we had other powerful fire options at our disposal. If only, if only. Alright, Koromaru's buffs are going away. Since this fight's not over yet, you don't want to sleep on Strong Shadows. Let's go for a Hound of Hades here and just completely decimate this guy with overwhelming dark power. Very good, very good. Next up, we have Angry Tables. Like their FES counterparts, they are weak to Slash, but they are also vulnerable to Wind, if that's more your speed. Slashing should work just fine for me, so we'll use that to set up our all-out attack, get a nice shuffle time, and I was able to secure a Justice card, so I am able to draw 2 cards per shuffle time. Unfortunately, could not get the Star card. Every time I saw a Major Arcana card, like 50% of the time it was the Moon card. The game really, really wanted me to draw the Moon card, and I'm not sure if there was something that was forcing that or not. Next up, we have the reload equivalent of the Fate Seeker, weak to Pierce and Light skills. Let me see here. I always forget what the button is to... Okay, there we go. I can remember what the button is to survey my team. Fortunately, Koromaru coming in with a critical Getsue. Not going to go for an all-out attack here, because he got a Debilitate off on Junpei, so I'm not confident that would finish him off. Conveniently, though, Hecaton Kairis comes in with Vile Assault, so you can just give him a little Tarkaja boosted down boost Vile Assault there, plus his weakness. Not exactly good for that guy, and hey, Lucky Duck. Ooh, and a new persona. Next up, we've got a Monad passage to deal with, and man, the Red Fog is really overt in this particular Monad passage. Anyways, let's get into a confrontation with this guy right here. Looks strong, but we can do this. Indeed, Ken, indeed. We've got this. This is a Rampage drive. Man, this is making me nostalgic for the start of the game. You know, a little bit of a callback there. Anyways, unfortunately, we don't have much in the way of being able to inflict debuffs on this guy, but he is actually vulnerable to poison. I was actually doing I was scoping out a guide to get the boss floors written down earlier. I saw that this guy could be poisoned, which is actually quite helpful for how this fight works. Anyways, I didn't get his resistances, so I'm just going to throw crap at him until something works. He's warming up his engine, but as you can see, poison takes quite a bit out of him, and it's a pretty simple fight regardless. He just revs up until he is ready to uncork absolute holy hell on you. Let me see here. what we're gonna go for is, we'll go for, Suzaku here. Still gotta make some more, dedicated specialists. One thing to note is that, I've got Thor in reserve. He's got access to, okay, so he doesn't have any particular weaknesses. One weakness, this team has is that I don't really have any good debuff support. If only there was some way I could tag, enemies with, debuffs really fast, but unfortunately, not something that's working out for me right now. But hey, maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. But I was saying that Thor is set up with Strike Boost and Strike Amp and Single Target Boost, and he's got God's Hand at his disposal now. So pretty good set of abilities there. Let's go for Deathbound again, see if we can't get a crit. Unfortunately, no. My luck is still pretty bad with that with Junpei. Probably because Junpei himself has pretty terrible luck. Let me see here. Do I want to go for a Theurgy just to finish him off? You know what? Yeah, let's pop over to Black Frost here, and use King and I, because it's been a while since we used this one, and it should be more than adequate for finishing this guy off. If not, Koromaru can get a follow-up tap. Okay, so yeah, Koromaru's gonna have to get that follow-up tap. I believe enemies are capable of dying to poison. It might be just my wishful thinking there. Did not matter anyways, we've defeated him. Not a terribly difficult boss fight. It attacks after 2 turns, so if you are unable to finish him off and you're not confident that you're gonna be able to do so, you can just have everybody guard. Anyway, we got a new persona there and some money. Very nice. I definitely need to do some more fusion. I've kind of been neglecting that in Persona 3 Reload thus far. Yeah, I'm just gonna look around, not bore you with the details of this. And to cap off this brief interlude, I think it's time that we do a boss fight. Now, before we get into this boss fight, I'm actually going... How many strong shadows have we fought so far? However many it is, we can't get careless now. Let's stay focused. Indeed, Fuka, indeed. Before we get into this boss fight, and I'm just going to roll right into it, because we can just retry anyway if I screw up. I'm going to do something a bit interesting here. I'm going to take off Junpei's Slash Bracers. I'm going to give him these Agni Bracers just for a little bit, because I think it's as good a time as any as we demo his new Theurgy. While I'm also thinking of it, let me use up some of my, incenses here. Junpei could probably use a little bit more punching power. Remember that even though his Theurgy is Fire Elemental, give it this extra bit of defense to Ken here, and then speed incenses to Junpei to improve his accuracy. There we go. Remember that even though it's Fire Elemental, it uses a combination of his strength and magic there, so both of those stats benefit the final damage total. Anyway, the enemy is strong. Please make sure you're ready before fighting. I was born ready, Fuka. I've got a team buffer set up just for the purpose of this fight. Come on, bring it. I'll take you on. Good attitude, Ken. Good attitude. Let's get this fight underway. Let me see here. I'm actually going to set up a revolution on our team here. Give Junpei a little bit more consistency with his critical hits. Oh hey, this guy's thinking the same thing. Yeah, that's just gonna extend the boost right there. Let me see. I'm going to, just for a little bit of safety here, I think it would be a good idea to set a Tetrakarn on the protagonist. That way, if any unlucky crits come through, we're not gonna have to worry about him taking any nasty damage there. A little bit unfortunate buff up on the enemy there, but that's okay, because we're accomplishing exactly what I would hope for with that revolution on Junpei. And do I want to just use his Theurgy right away to take out this thing right here? You know what? Just for the fun of it, yeah, let's show off Junpei's second Theurgy, Blaze of Life. And yes, that is the equivalent of Spring of Life for Junpei in this game, giving him full healing whenever he uses it. I don't really think it's that great of a Theurgy, but it's decent for what it is. Anyways, let's have Siegfried pull off a similar trick for us here. Oh! That's a little bit more than what Junpei got out of that. Do I want to immediately go for the Scarlet Havoc? Probably not a good idea. Let's charge up real quick here. We'll Deikaja off his damage and then go for the Scarlet Havoc, or Deikaja off his stat boost and go for the Scarlet Havoc on the next turn. I guess we'll go for Virus Breath. You never know when something might be vulnerable to poison. I kind of wish I could play around with ailments more, but I just often forget about the option, which is a bit of just a weakness on my part. I don't really think to explore it, because as you see, with proper usage of Theurgies, I'm able to accomplish a lot more, and if I had Akihiko here, that would be a lot more threatening. The freeze is unfortunate. Wow, we got double freezes coming through here. But not anything that we have to worry about. Scarlet Havoc on this guy, probably going to cause some pretty serious damage. If we're lucky, we'll get a crit. I'm not holding my breath on that. Or we could get it. Oh god, Jesus. Well, yeah, that was that boss. Anyways, returning to FES. Actually, sorry, I forgot there was dialogue and there's treasure to get, so let's not return to FES. Boy, I'm bad at that. And that's a wrap, folks. Damn, look at us go. Nothing can stop us now. Execution Squad, move out. Alright, let's get going. I like your attitude, Junpei. Glad to see you brought your A game. Between you and me, got the next fight in the bag. Alright, let's bounce. Nice to see that Junpei has cooled off so much since his little breakdown earlier. Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, let's get our chest here, get a bead chain, could always use more of those. Pop this sucker open and see what we get from this one. We get an adamant armor. Not sure what that does. Hey, sick armor. I think it'd help bring on my inner charm, you know? I'm not gonna give it to you, Junpei. I'd like to see what it does. Anyways, now we can return to FES.
Wow! My persona has a new ability. I can now bring you back to the entrance instantly. However, I can only use this ability inside Tartarus.
I always have to take an opportunity to show off Fuka's voice there, so I thought I'd just cut that in real quick. But hey, it still makes Fuka feel good to be able to pass us some information, so let's let her have her fun. Let's see here. What else can I find on this floor? There's the stairs, so we know that now. If I could find the next chest here and just confirm where the good treasure is, that would be delightful. That would be wonderful. Anything over this way? Just a dead end. Do kind of like to go to dead ends anyways, just to, fully map them out, and I know that that is a dead end when I make my return trip. Hey, that is a small little guy there. That might actually be something new, so let's see if... Oh my goodness. These guys are being very temperamental for me. Maybe temperamental is not the right word, but they aren't being very agreeable. There we go. Finally get this guy to turn himself around. Just another pistol mother, I'm afraid. Okay, on this floor, hey, yes, it is another payday floor. Like I said, though, I don't really care to get too much treasure right now. I can just do the bulk of that off-screen if I feel like it, so I'm just confirming for my notes later so I can easily tell when I can find good treasure, which floor is a payday floor, and then I can come back to that on my own time, should I desire. Alright, strong presence on the 201st floor. Be careful. Yeah, I got careless with Ken in that pistol mother encounter and had him wink an attack at her, and I completely forgot that it repelled wind, so Ken gave himself a good smack upside the head. Very extreme amount of table-related violence demonstrated there. Okay, another enemy over here. Thought I had a new encounter there for a second, but no, it was just a Jotun of blood, which we've already seen. Okay, let's see if I can't bait this guy out. There we go, exactly what I wanted. That should be enough to de-aggro them. And then we can get our treasure chest and see what we're dealing with here. Seeing a lot of different personae in the shuffle time, but not the Atropos I'm looking for. And we've confirmed that this is a garbage floor, so we can just try and speed our way to the next floor, ideally. Hopefully get there relatively quickly. I do wish we had more options for mapping things out here. Pretty undesirable shuffle time that time. The best thing I had lined up was a 6 coin, which much less than the money we can potentially get from valuable money chests. How are you feeling? Please don't push yourself too hard. Hey, pushing myself hard is what I do. Granted, I usually run like a coward whenever tiredness starts to set in, because it's just not as doable in this version of the game. Finally got that Atropos I've been holding out for. Let's see, a bead. Oh, that's an annoying thing to get, because that sometimes on junky floors you can get beads, so we'll see what else we might happen to get. Of course, it's entirely possible that I get the dreaded double bead treasure, which is, again, not very desirable. Okay, there's the stairs, so we've at least confirmed that. I want to at least try to confirm what treasure bracket we're working with here. Hopefully, can avoid this guy. Okay, 2 beads. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. Let me see here. I just want to be careful with which persona I have set up. I think Siegfried should be fine, so let's get into a fight with this guy. Of course, every time. You will never escape this. Okay, Maragion, not a big deal. A little annoying, but we pulled out quite well here. Oof. Ken, not so much, but, you know, we will make do. We will make do. Okay. Now, I definitely want to hold up on the analog as soon as possible, because we're definitely going to have something creeping back up on us. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to take that 8 of Wands there, because we could use the HP, all truth be told. Okay, hold up, hold up, hold up. And run. There we go, there we go. I wasn't sure if we were at the edge of that guy's tether range, so wanted to be as careful as possible with that. Also, we've got this guy over here. Probably in my best interest to deal with this guy intelligently and not take any chances, especially after the bit of clapping that I just got there. So, yeah, we'll take this guy out. Now that I have Atropos, I actually have a decent wind user.
My skills have improved.
Da-da-da-da! Junpei is leveled up!
Just gotta let them get that out there. But yeah, now I've got a somewhat decent wind user to keep my damage competitive, although she's still not strong enough to get the finisher that I was hoping for there. I don't think she has innate wind boost. Oh, no, she does. She does get wind amp eventually also. I guess that stat differential really is just starting to add up, so... Yeah, it's annoying that I got the double beads on that floor, because I can't actually confirm if it's a payday floor or not off of that treasure. Please be careful, says Fuka. We better, actually, speaking of being careful, let's, actually heal up here. No need to be frugal with my Media Rahans, because we've got, so much, SP to work with off of Fooleries. Just very, very nice for us. Love these little corners here that allow us to easily evade the enemies. Alright, we know where the stairs are, so as long as we can figure out where the treasure is, we can just double back the way we came and immediately get out of here onto the boss floor and have plenty of stamina to hunt out the things that'll give us items. Or this can be a floor that has no treasure on it. Okay, works for me, works for me. Let's just once again de-aggro these things. Sometimes you do get that. Sometimes there are floors that just straight up have no treasure, which bit of a rare occurrence, but every now and again you might get something weird like that. Okay, so I don't know what the status of this floor is either. This guy's positioned very annoyingly, so I'm just gonna take him out.
Yes, yes, yes. My skill level has increased.
And it makes me so happy to hear, Ken. Anyways, we've made it to the 201st floor, a fairly uneventful expedition. This only took me 30 minutes of raw recording, and probably at least a minute of that was due to my PS2 stalling out, so yeah, that's kind of an interesting... What we're going to do is we're going to turn in the Rainbow Hair quest. I'm going to just do whatever preparation they need, which likely is just going to be slapping Raphael into my active slot, and then we will get the boss fights underway, and that's where we'll be wrapping up this FES expedition. And of course, when I say FES Expedition, I of course just mean, you know, the direct view of the full expedition in FES. There'll still be a little bit I'll have to comment on with this video once we get through the bosses. Ah, so that's what rainbow hair looks like. Such beautiful colors. I bet you're wondering what I plan to use it for. Now that's a secret. Please accept your reward. Oh, Elizabeth, you and your mystery. Regardless, we get an Omega Drive, which might actually come in handy later. Alright, with that taken care of, let's get into the boss fights. Now, going into this boss fight, if you have a way to give yourself panic immunity, that would be highly, highly advisable to bring. The only real change I made to my equipment here is I decided to put a Berserker seal on the protagonist, just on the off chance that it could come in handy, but ailment immunity, if you have it, would be a good idea to bring for this fight. I am ill-prepared, as per usual, but that's okay. We shouldn't have too much trouble with this fight, because these guys are not immune to fire, and we've got auto buffs coming in, so... can win. I believe you.
This one's dangerous. Stay focused.
Fuka, you've been giving some very, very uninspired commentary this entire trip. Regardless, like I said, these guys are not immune to fire, so with our auto buffs in place, we can pop right off with the Maragidine and deal some pretty big damage. Before I get into it, let's see. I want Akihiko on heal and support, and then we'll have Ken go into full assault here. And that should do for this. Actually, I'm gonna have Ken go... act freely, actually. For one of the few times that, just in the off chance that he might have a Mapatra gem or something. Alright, with that taken care of, let's go into this. Maragidine, pretty big damage coming out from them. Okay, yes, here comes the panic, like I was expecting. which is annoying, but not something that we can't manage. Akihiko, there are so many better choices you can make. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing that we're going to have to deal with. Here comes Sexy Dance, which is also pretty unfortunate, but again, not something that we can't handle. Junpei has been charmed, but he didn't go for an attack on anybody. And let's see here, got lots of panic coming out. Ken will do that. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, bit of an unfortunate thing that we have to deal with. What I'm gonna do here is, let's see, we will start with a, I want a Maypatra gem. Where are my Maypatra gems? I was very good at, looking over these. This will dispel, actually, you know what? No, different idea. Let's, put a Discharm onto Junpei, because that will let him deal some good damage still. Here comes the Primal Force. Oof, that's unfortunate. Pretty spicy there. Their Dia's not exactly the most compelling option they could take there. Poisma, that's actually not bad there. That would keep us... okay, let's have Junpei do a quick fire attack there. Here comes Poison Mist. If that can overwrite the panic, that would actually be really nice. Medical Powder from Ken there. A little bit unfortunate, but still not the end of the world. Let me see here. What I'm gonna do... oh, if we could just get one of these taken out, that would be really, really helpful. What I'm actually going to do here, this might seem a little counterintuitive, but I'm actually going to throw up a Magic Mirror, because this will repel any incoming ailment skills that they attempt to use on us. If they go for a party-wide thing like, hey, that's pretty interesting. If they go for a party-wide thing like, that's also a pretty interesting option. What I'm trying to say is they go for a party-wide thing like Poison Mist, or Tentara Fu, that'll just get bounced right back at them. You see Dia Rahan coming out from Ken there. Actually not that unhelpful. Now, our buffs are going to expire at this point, which is a little unfortunate, but now that we've taken out one of them, we're in pretty good standing here. I have recovered, so now let's pop off with this Maragi Dine. Probably take out another one of them in the process. Yes, there we go. More than enough damage left on that. Let's just rush here to get Akihiko in position to start punching this thing. Unfortunately, Akihiko's fists are pretty outdated at this point, so one of the other goals that I have is eventually I want to make a another star persona that I can fuse into something better for Akihiko. There we go. A little bit messy there. Definitely if I had some ailment immunity. If I had some ailment immunity to work with there, that would have helped out a bit. Let's get into the portable version of the fight, where I will come in a little bit more prepared. But before we do that, obviously, got to grab my precious egg here. Very nice, very nice. Alright, let me get Junpei's poison cured while I'm thinking of it. Next up, we have Portable. As usual with these bosses that revolve around using ailments again, you see, they're a lot easier to deal with in Portable simply because we can have our party members use our stock of items to cure ailments, and for characters like Yukari, who probably aren't going to be doing too much in this fight anyway, that just makes it so much more simple. My setup is pretty similar, though, to FES, though I did put the Narcissus Flower onto the protagonist just to make sure that we can wall out any potential charm effects. I've gotten Koromaru up to level 52. Didn't take too much additional effort to get him there. I got him to this level specifically because in addition to having Fire Boost to pair with his Agni Bracers now, he also has High Counter, which can potentially be helpful in walling out some of the physical attacks that come through here. That's all there is to really say about my setup. Let's get into it.
This one's dangerous. Stay focused.
So, as always, our goal is to just try and finish these guys off before our auto-team buffs wear off, which should be a little bit more doable than it is in FES, because, again, we don't have to worry quite as much about ailments sticking to us in this version of the game. We can deal with those a lot more efficiently. I can just have Yukari throw out a Maypatra Gem for Tentara Fu. I can just have Koromaru use a Dispoison if I so desire. As a matter of fact, I think I will have Koromaru do the Dispoison. Better to get poison out of there than deal with it persistently throughout the fight. Koromaru is not our strongest attacker, so it would be wise to have him take care of that for us. Here we'll have Mitsuda, of course, throw out a Mabufala. Why not? Why not? There we go. Pretty good damage coming out there. Not comparable to Cert at all. Nice. That's a lucky dodge on Yukari there. I don't have any kind of ailment protection on Yukari, and her getting charmed would kind of stink because she could potentially Mei Diorama these guys. We'll do the Maragi dying here, and these guys should be pretty close to dead after this. Okay, here comes the sexy dance. That's a lot more problematic, unfortunately. Not too much we can really do about that when it happens. The main thing I just don't want to see is any healing come out. It would be nice if they could override our elements, but I believe that Charm is the highest in the hierarchy, so this is going to extend the fight out a little bit. Let me see here. We got Poison Mist coming out. That's a dodge from my pro tag. Yeah, so unfortunately, this is the infamous thing that can happen with the charm status, is your fights will just get extended out ad nauseum because your party members just keep curing the enemy. So unfortunately, we have no choice but to just do a round of charm curing. Poison is fine. We can deal with that, no problem. So let's go with another discharm from Koromaru. Once you start getting into the late game, you'll also notice that your item list gets pretty messy, so it can be a little tricky to find the things that you're looking for. Here comes a Primal Force. If we're lucky, Koromaru will high counter, which we weren't so lucky there, but that's okay. We'll get the charm off of Yukari, and we should be able to kill one of these guys. So, let's hopefully get that going through. Oh, don't tell me that we're... again. That's okay, that's okay. Oh my goodness, yeah, that's a disaster, though. It does stink when that happens, and again, there's really not much you can do about it when it happens. You just have to kind of suck it up and take it. I haven't really had to suffer, charm from these guys before, so what I'm gonna do instead, let's see here. Koromaru turned against the party. That's okay. If he goes for Mitsuru, that's perfectly fine. Primal Force coming out from this guy, that's not a big deal. We're not going to bother too much with getting these guys, damaged. We're going to focus on getting buffs reestablished. Do I happen to have any sutras left at this point in the game? Doesn't look like it. Instead, what we'll do is we will discharm Yukari, and we'll just start trying to get some buffs set up on the team. Tentarafu coming through, but that is much, much easier to deal with than other status ailments, because we can just purge that out with a Mei Patra gem. So yeah, our first order of business will be trying to get defense buffs set back up on the team. So let me see here. Who do I even have that has defense buffs at this point? It's not something that I have to pay attention to quite as much in... Portable. Let's see here. Didn't keep it on her. I believe Nandi has Marakukaja. His defense is pretty low, though, so it might be a little risky. Oh, boy. Should I just go for trying to take these guys out? Let's switch up our approach, actually. Let's go for just trying to take these guys out one at a time. As you can see, Ragnarok still deals pretty good damage. We're just going to have to suffer Koromaru attacking our own party here. Yeah, unfortunately, there is no multi-target cure for Panic in this game, so you just have to suffer it, unfortunately. And yeah, let's just do our strongest single-target attacks on the weakest guys. What I'll do is I'll have Yukari... Let's see, here comes a Heat Wave. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Yukari withstood the attack. They're gonna Dia themselves. That's okay. That's the first time we get to see the party members' Endure effect come in. Let me see here. What I want to do is, man, I don't have any... Oh, no, wait, they're right here. Let's do a bead chain right here. Hopefully, Koromaru will eventually shake off the... charm there, and we can get him back helping us out here. Okay, that's that one down. Now it'll be a lot easier to stay on top of what this thing is doing, and yeah, Koromaru is still charmed. Very annoying, but not the end of the world. What we'll do here now is we will dispoison the Femsi, and we should be able to just stay on top of this battle now. Very annoying fight, depending on what they do. As you can see, here we go again. Okay, luckily we managed to duck it that time. Another option you have for dealing with that is to just do... Guards. Guards give you guaranteed dodges against ailment skills, which if you don't want Koromaru to do anything in this fight, you can totally just have him guard. Let's see here. I do have to be careful if, hey, Koromaru has recovered. I'm actually going to have him up Masukukaja on the party. This will give us more dodge and better chance to evade something like Heat Wave or Primal Force if it gets thrown at us. Otherwise, we can probably just focus on taking the enemy down now. So yeah, I got pretty unlucky. They decided to go with Sexy Dance more than they did Tentarafu. Tentarafu is very easy to manage. Again, we can just use a Maypatra gem. Honestly, why even bother at this point? The only character I care about if they aren't able to use their skills is the Femc. We're going to be able to hit this thing with the Ragnarok guaranteed and take it out. Pretty sucky fight there, but we handled it well enough. Alright, on to Reload. And before we get into our closing boss battle for this video with Reload, we have of course got another little montage of enemies to go through. We got Pistol Mothers here, which, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother confirming what their weaknesses are, because Koromaru and Junpei can just work through them just fine enough with their basic attacks. I've already switched Junpei back over to the Slash Bracers, so Deathbound in particular is going to be appreciated. I'll try and get their weaknesses later so I can comment on them at some point in this montage. I was just eager to get into the fight here. Unfortunately, okay, that's a block right there. Let's have Junpei go for a Gigantic Fist. Just shop around our options here and see what gets us anything good going. Let's go for Maegas since they reflected that. Probably looks like it's gonna this is oh no, okay. Okay, we're gonna be able to scan them. Dear Rahan, extending this fight, delaying the inevitable. How droll. What a boring way to play. Okay, they are weak to ice. Not something that Koromaru is well equipped to do, so we're just gonna have to rely on Getsue. Hope he gets a crit. Probably won't, but hey, at that 15% chance, you know, it's always worth it to try and take that opportunity. By the way, Vile Assault, pretty decent coverage option for Ken there. Not the worst thing you could have him do. One thing to note is that we don't have Ice Amp on Black Frost right now, so he's actually falling behind a little bit. I'd love it if I got a card that would let me get that skill onto him. Could keep him relevant for the rest of the game, honestly. Next up, we have our rare form for this section of Haraba, and this guy drains everything. Your only option for defeating him under normal circumstances is a Theurgy, which of course pierces all resistances, so that's something to keep in mind. There are options besides Theurgies for bypassing resistances, but it requires specific weapons that you can get from the antique store that have a pierce resistance effect. Not something we have at the moment, so I wouldn't really consider that. We need a Theurgy if we want to defeat those things, so keep that in mind if you see rare forms in this section of Haraba. You definitely want to have the proper skills on hand to defeat them. By the way, one important thing to note here, Trumpeter has gained the ability Debilitate. Debilitate slaps all debuffs onto an enemy. It's single targeting, so it's not the perfect debuffing skill, but it is a very, very good one. I don't really need Medea Rahan on him, so I'm just going to bounce that out of his skill set. We definitely want to take that. Definitely want to register in the compendium. He will be good material for a utility persona that just debilitates things. He is our earliest chance to access Debilitate. So useful. So it's such a good idea to put a growth 3 onto him just for this purpose. Next up, we have the reload equivalent of Curse Dice, but unfortunately, Fuka is a little light on SP. I've been having her scan a lot of things, so, you know, she's just kind of tuckered out. We're just gonna have to throw our attacking options at him, see which ones work. But hey, that's the classic way to do it. In Persona 4, it was your only option for really doing this kind of thing, so, you know, it's almost nostalgic in a way. Luckily, it was the more intuitive option of elect that this guy is weak to, so keep that in mind if you run into him on your own time. Continuing on, we have our next Monad boss to fight. The battle ahead will be unavoidable. Are you sure you want to go on? Of course, Fuka, of course. I mean, we've handled so many of these so well up to this point. Alright, I'll take you on. One thing to note is that I finally remembered to equip the Amriti necklace. I've given it to Ken, since it seems like it's most prudent to have our healer be equipped with that. Anyway, I don't know what this thing is weak to, so we're just gonna wing random stuff at it until I knock it over. And it will be fun to just absolutely wail on it once that comes around. I don't want Ken to do here. May as well just shop around different hits here. Ken is so versatile with his attacking options that he often is able to hit something that an enemy is weak to. Not always, but yeah, having good or covering 3 different options. Always very nice. Fire Break coming through, which I'm not overly concerned about, all truth be told. Also, speaking of just winging stuff to see what happens, just sending out Brave Blades with Siegfried, never a bad idea, especially when you get something like that. I kind of feel bad for this thing, but we're just going to send out another Brave Blade. We've definitely got the crit cheese going on the protagonist here. May as well scan this thing to see if we do have anything it's weak to. Ice is the thing that we would be going for if we hadn't already just completely decimated it. Unfortunately, Koromaru does not have much else that is good against this thing, so we'll just have to do this, and then Ken will get the honors here. We will go with Kogaon, since that's his strongest attacking option that isn't his Theurgy. Not really necessary to use the Theurgy on this thing at this point. Good enough, good enough. It was not a very difficult enemy right there. Next up, we have the reload equivalent of the Judgment Sword, which is weak to dark spells, making it pretty ill-suited to taking on Koromaru. Kind of feel bad for this guy. Koromaru dealing some pretty wonderful dark damage once you have some dark boosting accessories onto him. And once he gets access to Dark Amp, especially, he will be able to lay out some pretty sweet damage with his skills. Koromaru gets pretty good flexibility with his equipment options like that. Following that up, we have Wrathful Books here, who are also quite vulnerable to what Koromaru can throw out. Koromaru, like Ken, also has pretty decent coverage options, but unlike Ken, he does not passively recover his SP, so he can run out pretty quickly, even though he does have a higher or slightly bigger SP pool than Ken does to work with. Oh well, these things that happen for the poor pooch. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, Junpei's gonna go. Junpei, I actually didn't get to show this on screen. Not that I show all my level ups on screen, really, but while I was gathering Major Arcana cards, he did pick up Agidine. Not really a hugely important option for him, but it is, once again, another bit of coverage, which is always much appreciated, so I'll always take that when it shows up. Next up, we have Perpetual Sands, and boy, Koromaru's just been doing well with things that are vulnerable to him. I'm not going to have him knock both these things down, because it's more efficient to pass it over to Junpei, who can just use a quick Deathbound, or I suppose I could pass it over to the protagonist, but I would kind of like these things to be able to survive, so that I could do the all-out attack. Every shuffle time I can get gives me so much more resources to work with, so may as well take those opportunities to get those when I can get them, especially when I've got easy layups for it, like the Perpetual Sands. And I also managed to get the final Monad encounter, well, not the Monad Passage encounter, but the final Monad Door encounter for this little montage here, so I don't have to worry about showing it off in the next video. Hey, that saves me a little bit of effort, you know? I am profoundly lazy, so I'll take those. It's something I don't have to remember later. Heck yeah, heck yeah. Anyway, let's just go for a Revolution here. By the way, another skill that Koromaru picked up is now he can Ma Sukakaja the team, which I probably won't keep forever, because, well, I have my reasons. Let me see here. I'm just gonna have Ken give this guy a whack. Okay. Nice little confirmation there. He is chanting a death spell. Better be mindful of that. Fortunately, Ken does have something that'll have us covered there when it comes around. Let's see. You know, I think for the first time, I am actually gonna just switch over to, what is it? Trumpeter here, and debilitate him real quick. I think that would be a solid option. Let's take a look at what this guy is vulnerable to. Fire! Hey, that is also pretty good for us. Unfortunately, I don't have the Agni Bracers on Junpei, so can't make use of his, well, I can't make effective use of Spring of Life. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it anyway. Why not? Just for the fun of it, because it's a cool attack. We're going to watch the animation again, and it is honestly nice that, even in death, Chidori is always going to be by Junpei's side, helping him out. When you have buffs, debuffs, and stuff like the enemy being down wrapped in, as you can see, that attack is quite powerful. Anyways, a Vile Assault from Ken will deal some pretty wonderful damage here, and also, the thing is dizzy, so we don't have to worry about, dealing with its death spell. We'll just have Junpei go with the tried and true Deathbound there. Surprisingly, was actually less damage than what Ken was capable of pulling off with Vile Assault. It's a pretty significant bonus Vile Assault has there. You know what? Just for the fun of it, I'm actually going to switch over to Bishamonten here, because he's got a pretty potent Vile Assault with that Pierce boost, and he's got Crit Rate Amp, and I'm going to spoil this for you. The reason I'm actually put a Growth 3 skill on that guy to level him up is that he actually picks up Pierce Amp as well. And he has Myriad Arrows, Primal Force, so he's actually a pretty ready-to-use Pierce user. So I think I actually will go all in on trying to get him ready to do some good work for us. And we've got another new enemy here, the Jotun of Blood, and this guy is vulnerable to dark skills, so I think he's pretty well set to just be downed by Koromaru. Then we'll probably switch over to the protagonist and hit him with a slightly more potent dark skill. I mean, I guess I could have Koromaru go for the double tap, but I think it would be more effective to go for something with the protagonist here, although honestly, I don't actually have a super great dark user, but the Maega from Black Frost should still be pretty potent, more potent than an all-out attack. Yeah, it was enough to finish him off. Just overthinking myself here. Maybe, I did get an Aegon card, so maybe I should card that onto Black Frost.
Oh, guess it's time to move on.
And now we've got our boss fight.
Enemy spotted. Please be careful.
I will, Fuka, I will. This time I actually will go back to the ground floor because, well, I'm not quite tired, but I would actually like to do a quick montage of fusion, which I don't know if I'll show everything that I create, but if there's anything interesting that comes up, I would like to create some new stuff, and then let's get into the battle. First off, I'll be creating your Garuda, who will potentially be a good wind user, and I could definitely use some of those. I also definitely need to be paying attention to what I'm actually fusing off. Could definitely put myself in a bad spot if I fuse something that was actually helpful to me. But yeah, I'll just take care of that and see what this guy has for me. Next up, I'll create a Barong, who could actually be a pretty good wing or elect user, better than the Mishaguji that I've got, so probably we'll keep this guy as a permanent fixture. Well, a fixture for the immediate future. Next up is Kali, who's mostly just filler. I've already got a great slash user in Siegfried. Since we have an outstanding request for her, we can create Alice, and also I forgot that Norn you do not get from maxing out the Fortune Arcana in this version of the game, so I can actually just create her as a dedicated wind user. Pretty silly of me to forget that, but let's get Alice made first. Alice here comes in with the interesting option of Die For Me, the ultimate insta-death darkness spell in the game. With Muda Boost, it has pretty high chances of succeeding, though I'm not really a big fan of it. She also comes with Maegan and Migidalaon, which, let me see here. I'll get rid of Masukakaja for that. Don't really plan to do much with this girl, but hey, she's there, and we had a request for her anyway. What skill is changing? Sure, why not? I'm not super pressed on having her as a buffer. Oh, she also got Evade Light. Interesting selection of options we got there. And finally, we've got Norn over here, who's probably the last thing that I'm going to make for this little montage here, since, yeah, she's a very, very easy to set up wind user. Let's go with Soul Chain. We will take Matarukaja, just to have more options with that. Don't really need debuffs anymore now that I have access to stuff that can inflict, or rather utilize, what is it? Debilitate. What the heck, we'll take Life Aid also. Of course I'm going to card a Wind Boost onto her, so that she can get a little bit more out of that Phanta Ray there, the strongest wind spell in the game. Very nice thing to have for her, and just a awesome option all around for us to have access to. Magat Udines especially will also be pretty nice to have in battle. Take that Meidia Rahan there, why not? Let's see, we got Soul Link and Soul Chain on the receiving end. Soul Chain is one... Oh, that's just the upgraded version of Soul Chain. You know what, let's get rid of Invigorate 3 since we have Life Aid anyway. Honestly, we don't need either of those. Alright, I've gotten everything that I've needed here, so let's continue on into the boss now. Whoops, I almost forgot I had the request to turn in. I am bad about this. Regardless, looks like you managed to fuse Alice of the Death Arcana. Well done. That completes this request. It is to my understanding that she is a difficult one to summon. Now you're one step closer to mastering the art of fusion. What spectacular progress you've made. Please take this as your reward. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate it, I appreciate it. Even if it isn't functional armor like it is in Portable. Alright, with all that rigmarole out of the way, I think it's time for some intense combat against a large battalion of samurai. The enemy is strong. Please make sure you're ready before fighting. Fuka, have I ever gone into these half-cocked? Don't answer that. Anyway, looks tougher than I thought, but ain't nothing stopping me. I love your enthusiasm, Junpei. We're gonna make good things happen here. Now, let's see here. Guess we can just start off by having Koromaru throwing out the Maragidine. With his Auto Masakunda and our Auto Masukakaja, we benefit quite a lot from having just a really good evasion. So that's a nice little thing that Koromaru does for us. Also, Ken's Kogaon has upgraded to Ma Kogaon. That's a little bit intensive in SP costs, but hey, it's not really a bad thing if Ken's SP goes under his, or gets low, because, you know, that's what his central Theurgy charge mechanic revolves around. Junpei loves the opportunity to potentially fish for more crits here. Matad or Kaja coming out from these guys, but that's okay. We have Ken to counteract that. Speaking of Matad or Kaja, I should look for getting that set up on my end here. So we'll have Suzaku get that going for us, just to make sure everybody is dealing the most damage possible here. Evil Smile coming out from this guy, and this is potentially where Ken having ailment immunity will come in handy. Let's see here. We'll have Koromaru just go for a Virus Breath here, why not? And yeah, didn't get very lucky there, but that's fine. These guys are going to have boosted attack power to work with, but we should be fine here. Anyways, I forgot to buy more status cures, but it shouldn't matter that much. Use our refresh pack here. Just so nice to have ailment immunity on our side now. Alright, let's have Junpei go for a Deathbound here, hopefully get a crit. Nah, not having good luck with that, but that's okay. These guys are going for a little Revolucion, and that is actually about to work against them, because of course, we have our own little high crit spam option here. Oh, Siegfried, I've got just the occasion for you to come out on. Was hoping that Junpei would get a Deathbound crit, but why don't we just go with the more boring and practical solution to our problems here? I honestly feel kind of sorry for this guy. You know what, Junpei? I think it's time you got the honors with Blaze of Life to close out this video. Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. Just absolutely dominated them. Tons of experience to go around. Level ups for everything that I want to be getting level ups. It's so nice to have all those Growth 3 cards. We don't need Blade of Fury anymore, so we can swap that out for Regenerate 3. Junpei's equivalent to his equivalent to Spring of Life in this version, which is kind of lame. I liked it when he had a unique skill. I think I had a small breakthrough during that last fight. Is it okay if we keep going? I'd like to reinforce what I picked up while it's still fresh. Sure, let's go, Ken, but not in this video. Thank you. I'll do my best to make myself useful. Yes, I think this one's gone on long enough. We have had plenty thrown our way. We, of course, still got treasure to grab over here, so let's make sure we get this. Get a free Guard Incense 3, which I'll probably throw on to Ken, and we're actually doing quite well on Twilight Fragments. I've been finding a lot of Twilight pedestals. The Dojigiri Yatsusuna, and yo, that weapon looks beastly. But it'd take a real master like me to make good use of it. So, well, please, Junpei, as always, just let me see what the heck it actually does, because you've got a really good sword already. That has an 8 slash boost, which isn't terrible, but Junpei cares more about having the crit rate, so I'm not going to spring for that. But hey, maybe you would like that. That, regardless, is where we're going to end the video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. We'll be back out and about in town, and just trying to contemplate what we're going to be doing with the whole, you know, end of the world situation. As always, though, you just have a good one, and see ya.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined.